out doing a job, but everything we see and do affects us just like it does everybody else.
A lot of problems with first responders and veterans is that now we're in a battlefield that's very different.
I've lost more friends to suicide than I did in combat, and it really hurts.
When you push the human envelope to those maximum extents, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then you pull that plug, nothing prepares you for the silence. Nothing prepares you for that void.
You can't come that close to death without it having some effect on you.
I'll never forget my wife telling me, you know, you're not the same Brett that I married.
What War Horses does is it puts you in that environment to, in essence, look in the mirror. But that mirror's that horse. And that horse is going to tell you where you're at.
You got to relax. You got to calm down. You got to slow your mind down and just think about this one thing, controlling that horse.
The first thing we do before we get on a horse, we breathe. Let go of everything. Let go of everything in your head. If I don't let go of everything, I cannot be present with the horse.
It's magic. I just started crying. It was the first time in my life that I literally let everything go.
Compassion, generosity, love, all of these things trickle back into what it is to be a human being.
It's completely changed me.
All the confidence I had lost, it started coming back working with these horses. They've given me my life back.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Have you ever done it so much you had to put...
Welcome everybody to Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, and up there's Pooky, and this is Friday Night Freedom. We are the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments over on the Facebooks. Thank you all for being here. Happy Friday, everyone. This is gonna be a good show, man. What's up, Bridie? Branko, Mr. Brinkley. Branko. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy Friday schedule and joining us here for a couple of hours of just us bullshitting and stuff. Today is, what is today? Today's the 4th day of March 2022.
Already March. That's crazy.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, let's just get rid of these. I mean, I am kind of old, so I kind of hang on to the years that I've got left, but I kind of like it when the year kind of flies by. I mean, those days of the Rona were kind of slow and dragging out and stuff, and it's just, every day was a Monday kind of thing. But here we are, man. Stephen Pianki's making his welcome statement there. How you doing, Stephen? So
must have been front.
So last week, man, we did a show. We kind of ran over a little bit last week by about 20 minutes or so, which is fine. But then I went to bed after I posted the podcast, got up early on Saturday morning and caught a flight from Dallas to Colorado Springs to go to it was a fundraising event for Operation Pay It Forward. It was a lot of fun. I was exhausted. It just waking up, staying up late Friday, waking up early, and then that event was, I didn't have much downtime at all. I landed, Ice picked me up from the airport. I think after he walked past me like twice at the baggage claim area. But yeah, we hopped in his truck and we went to eat a burger at In-N-Out. What's funny is they have the In-N-Out there is relatively new, and it was pretty crowded. There was we walked in, there was probably, I don't know, 10 people ordering ahead of us. So there was quite a line. But he said that there was a Whataburger had just opened up in in Colorado Springs. And he said it's like all these things that are brand new, just everyone just goes, roar, just descends on whatever that new thing is. It used to be In-N-Out, and now it's Whataburger. He said the line was just like wrapped around the building, and the parking lot was full.
Crazy. They're talking about opening one here in South Carolina.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Well, it's like way out, like towards like Cherokee, like up towards like it's way in the mountains. So I mean, I might take a 2-3 hour trip to go get some Whataburger.
Oh my gosh, you think they'd put that where there's people? You know?
I don't know. I don't know why they're deciding to do it up that way, but.
So anyway, the weather was beautiful. The venue was awesome. It's a hangar. The museum. I wrote up something. I should probably just read it. But needless to say, it was just a lot of fun. I appreciate Ice being Ice was my duty driver. So that was kind of cool. It was great, man. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I went. Glad I participated. Met a lot of cool people. So let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. So March 7th, which is Monday, it's our birthday. Yay! Happy birthday to us. We're 7 years old. I think that's the right number. We're 7 years old. So happy birthday to us. And let me see, March 8th, which is Tuesday, on the Pop Culture Warrior, Bradley Constant is going to be on the show. Bradley Constant is poised to break into the spotlight, starring as 15-year-old Dwayne Johnson during his formative high school years, kicking puberty's ass in the new NBC comedy series Young Rock, which focuses on different chapters of Dwayne Johnson's life. That kind of sounds like a cool show. I think I would watch that. How you doing, Bailey? So Bailey, what do you prefer, Whataburger or In-N-Out, or do you have another entry? So see, on March 10th, we're going to be welcoming the command team for USAREC. They're going to be talking with the ICE. So that's pretty cool. So so this is what I did last weekend. I've got pictures and stuff. So last Friday, ICE and I ascended into Colorado Springs for an event called the it was held at the National Museum of World War II Aviation. I said the word ascended in the proper context because when I took off from Dallas, I was at 607 feet above sea level, and when I landed in Colorado Springs, I was at 6,035 feet above sea level. Oxygen was hard to come by. I got winded walking to ICE's truck. What the fuck? I also got a pretty good bloody nose that night. Yeah, right before I had taken a shower and I'm getting ready for going out and doing things and stuff, and I got this big ass bloody nose. It's probably because the air was really, really dry. So I think it was just because it was just super low humidity as opposed to altitude stuff. So that's what happened there. So Ice and I, we dressed up really nice and stuff. So anyway, the event was a fundraising event for Operation Pay It Forward. Operation Pay It Forward was, let me see, I get all these things here. Here's the flyer. Operation Pay It Forward was formed to help our returning warriors overcome the injuries and demons that they brought back with them from combat. Their goal is to introduce and reintroduce these veterans to the outdoors and associated healing effects and camaraderie that comes with it. These soldiers are given a new mission to connect with their veteran brothers and sisters that need help and involve them in the OPIF's mission to pay it forward to their brothers and sisters in arms. They are a great resource for our veterans, and you can check them out at OPIF, the number 4, ourvets.org. They're a badass organization. A lot of connections out into the community. They're just a bunch of people that love to help. There was lots to. It was interesting to see the inner workings of this organization. Anywhere from ranchers to landowners to just people that just wanted to help. I mean, there's all kinds of folks. Angelina Thanks to her, she's the mom of Operation Pay It Forward, and she took really great care of us. She was extremely flexible and understanding, and what she paid attention to what we needed. So you've heard of herding cats, and Angelina herds field mice. That's how busy she is, and she is that good. So our appearance was done in large part with the Military Broadcast Radio, or MBR, in support of OPIF. We got to hang out with their team for most of the time, and they do great things. Joel and Rob were awesome, and I couldn't quite read her name tag. She had all the MBR folks were wearing shirts that had their names on them, and I couldn't read her name. I think it said either Moose or Mouse. I think it said Moose. So we were all at the same table, and everybody there was just really cool. It was just cool to see their plans and the way that they do things. And I need to check out their the H Train show, because that's Rob and Joel's show, and you can catch them at MBR, Military Broadcast Radio. It was a large table, or a large turnout, and everyone had about there were 14 tables, and there was probably 8 to 10 people per table, and it was at this World War II museum. I got a photo up there, and that's when you drive up the big driveway, that's what you saw. I think that's a B-25, and then something else over onto the right there. Not quite sure what model truck that is. I don't think that's from World War II, though.
Does it look like a Toyota or a Nissan?
So the staff at the museum were great. They had a really cool gift shop. They had like chunks of like sheet metal from planes that they had rescued and refurbed, with bullet holes and crap in it. And there's like radios and different pieces of electronics that were used. There was just all kinds of cool stuff there.
I would have had a blast out that way.
It was really neat. It was really cool. They had a really great gift shop. Johnny was exceptional. He's one of the staff volunteers at the museum, and Ice and I were just walking around just looking at stuff, and he's like, "Hey, you want me to open that up for you?" We're all, okay, cool, yeah. So Johnny opened it up, and because I'm making comments like, "Man, it'd be like a whole day's worth of PT trying to climb up this aircraft to get in." And you actually get into the aircraft by climbing in the tail and then working your way up. It was just neat, man. And they had like old engines there, and like rescue aircraft. They would go to like French New Guinea and dig up a plane that's been buried in the mud since World War II. And then they bring it back, clean it up, and they're gonna refurb it. Awesome. The interesting thing about this museum is every aircraft that's in there is a flying aircraft. When you walk into the museum, where the hangar is, you can smell the oil. There's drip pans under all of the aircraft. Some of these aircraft leak really, really, really bad. I mean, there's like gallons of oil in these drip pans.
Sounds like a trip for me to like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. I mean, I'd have a blast at that. Is it just American airplanes in there, or is it like a mix of everything from World War II? I didn't see any enemy aircraft. I'm not saying that there's not any. I don't do fixed wings. My knowledge on fixed wings is extremely limited, just because my interest isn't there. Fires or anything like that in there?
I didn't see any. They were all American. Grumman had. I got some pictures. So here's let me see. Okay. There's a Grumman TBM Avenger. I'm doing that from memory. That was there, because all the aircraft kind of look like the Corsair. But the Corsair is one, but then they all kind of look like the Corsair. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. They had
that's naval aircraft to carry your plane, because the wings folding up like that. No?
Mm-hmm. And that's the small one. The one that me and Ice were looking at was the big one. And they showed big how one. It was a big one. Let me see, impressive auction. There was a gun. Let me show some of these pictures. These pictures are pretty cool. This one here, let me see. This is the P-38 Lightning. This one actually, never mind that yellow wing that's above it, because that belongs to a humongous seaplane that was in there. That seaplane was, the wingspan went from like one side of the hangar to the other. This thing was a monster, absolute monster. Let me see. Guns. Oh, there was an auction. It was really, really awesome. They had a very impressive auction. These guns here, that top one is a Savage 308 long distance shooting bolt action rifle. Magazine fed. It was beautiful. I couldn't find what the manufacturer suggested retail price on that one was, but underneath it is a Ruger. What kind of pistol is that? That's a
5.56 pistol.
It is. And I was like, okay, because I looked that up, and I'm like, okay, that's the suggested price for that was like $1,000 and some change. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll bid on it. And I was gonna bid like $1,000, $1,000, right? I think the opening bid for that was $2,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The one that catches my eye is that bolt action on the top there.
That bolt action is really, really nice. The auction for that bolt action was, I think that gun went for $6,000, maybe more. But that gun came with, it comes with 2 days worth of long distance shooting instruction out in Utah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I would never spend that kind of money. But if you get to travel out and actually like get instruction long distance.
And it wasn't just from some dude who knew how to shoot. It was, the instruction was from Chris Kyle's mentor. And he also holds some kind of a record for a target shot at 3 miles. Not with that gun, but he's a long distance shooter.
Just the only thing I would change on that is the grip on it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'd have to make everything that I shoot's got to be made left-handed. So I don't think I could get. I don't think I could shoot that. I think that bolt would be in my way. Maybe not.
You'd be all right.
So that the top rifle went for $6,000 or something, and the AR down there has a 10.5-inch barrel. It's really, really small. That went for a couple of grand and some change. Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining. But it was all, and it was an auction. I'd never been to an auction before. I think the auction was extremely fun. The auctioneer was also a supporter of Operation Pay It Forward, and he was just a riot. The way that he carried himself and the way that he spoke, and it was just, you could tell that he knew folks there because he's given people a lot of shit. It was a lot of fun. It was a whole lot of fun. So me and Ice are sitting at the table like afraid to move because all of this stuff is going for thousands and thousands of dollars. And it wasn't just guns and stuff. They had auctions for like hunting trips.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, because I see in the picture, it's something about like a whitetail deer trip or something like that. And
that was a hunting trip. It may have been in Colorado. It might have been in Utah, but it was a hunting trip up there. One of them was for, it was a doe hunting trip. They had a couple for deer, like male stags. They had, they do river floating trips, camping, just living off the land type trips. What else was raffled off? It wasn't not a raffle. There was a raffle there. I'll talk about that in a second. Elizabeth, to catch you up, we are talking about where Ice and I were last Saturday. We were in Colorado Springs at a fundraising event for Operation Pay It Forward, and it was held at a World War II aviation museum in Colorado Springs. Let me see what else. Oh my gosh! Let's talk about the raffle for a second, which was bullshit. There were 4 or 5 items in this. There was a really cool over/under shotgun that they were raffling off. There was a Diablo something screw driving skill saw thing.
Ooh,
it looked cool. They had, what else did they have there? One of the items was a like a laundry basket, and the laundry basket was full of like beauty stuff, like hair conditioner and lotions and things like that. And that there was like an 80-quart Yeti cooler that they were auctioning off. So I was like, all right, you know, the tickets. I bought $100 worth, 25 tickets for $100. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll win something, maybe I won't. But then right before the raffle, the auctioneer is just like, oh yeah, we're going to change the rules here. And actually it was right after the guy, they called out a number, and some guy, you know, stood up, he was like, woo, and he, of course, he picked, it was whoever won got to pick. So he goes up and he picks the shotgun. Like everybody expected. Nobody expected him to pick anything else. So he picked up the shotgun, and the auctioneer who was announcing the results of this raffle was like, oh yeah, we changed the rules. So the next winner can come, and if they want the gun, they can take it from you. So they turned it into like a white elephant type of thing.
Like a reverse white elephant.
Yeah. so this guy goes up there and he's all happy that he got the shotgun. Then they called up another number, and he goes up and takes the shotgun from this guy. So he had to pick something else, and then, you know, it all came down to everybody just had a really good time. I don't even remember who walked away with all the beauty equipment. No, Musa, they did not have any porn DVDs that I saw. What else did they auctioned off handmade there was like 300 flies, like fishing flies.
Those ain't cheap,
dude. That went for a couple of $1,000s.
Those aren't cheap. I used to dabble in that for a little while, and like I said, my hands messed up. So like, if I sit there, it's like some of them will sell. It's insane the amount of money that someone will pay for something that small for fly fishing.
And it was a case. It was like a folded case, and it was probably as big as your hand. And then you open it up, and it's big as both of your hands. But it had 300 custom tied flies in there. It was really neat. I'm not a fly fisherman. I think I want to say it came with a fly rod too. So here's a picture of the venue. You can see the tables, and then the aircraft to my right there, and it was cool. There were airplanes everywhere inside there. Let me see, what else do they have here? So that's kind of all the pictures. I didn't want to just do like a death by PowerPoint with a bunch of the pictures, but it was really awesome. Boulder Distillery was there. They had 4 or 5 different kinds of whiskeys that they were sampling out, and they had an all you can drink bar that had like 2 bartenders in there, and they were mixing drinks, or they were handing out beers and stuff. It was cool. The food was absolutely amazing. It was a, you know, kind of come and serve yourself type thing with chafing dishes out there. But there was like a beef thing. There was a chicken thing. There were vegetarian options. They had a really good salad. It was awesome, man. It was just really well put together. OPIF did a fantastic job setting that up. And thanks to the museum, the World War II Aviation Museum there, is just, I've got nothing bad to say. Other than it was maybe cold. It was cold. That was it.
Oh, wow.
You know, because I left Texas and it was like 30-something degrees. So I get to Colorado. It was actually warmer. It was like 36 degrees when I landed. So it wasn't all bad. So it was it was, Gary. It was a great time. So if you guys have a chance to go hit up like a OPIF and see what they have to offer. If you got a buddy, or even you thinks that you could use some of this, I'll call it therapy. You know, just hanging out outdoors with these guys. They do hunting trips all the time. There's a big ranch. They got a ranch. I've got to check this place out over in Abilene. It's somewhere in Abilene or around Abilene. Brand new place. I definitely have to check that out. They do a lot of pig hunts out there. I'm not a big hunter, so it really doesn't. I don't have to go. Wow, I have to do that.
I used to be. Now I'm kind of just like, my knee starts hurting after walking about, like, I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I guess you got to watch out for mountain lions, but you know those pigs aren't they're nothing to underestimate, man. They'll kill you.
I would rather come face to face with a mountain lion, like face to face, than just be minding my own business and have like 30 wild boars charging me.
Yeah, those boars will mess you up, dude. I used to work with a guy. He ended up getting laid off, but he used to go on boar hunts and he used to kill them with a knife. He would jump out of trees on top of these things and kill them.
You know, in my younger days, it would sound like me, my like young brain saying, "Man, I would want to do that." Now I'm like, I'd break every bone in my body.
You'd be laying on the ground going, "Time out, time out, time out."
Yes, this aircraft fly. Yes, that's why I'm getting a nerd boner, because I love World War II airplanes, World War I and World War II airplanes. I love it, and I'd probably be in jail right now because I probably would have started one up. I'm like, wee.
Yeah, every one of them flies, and the thing is, they rescue these things. These are all refurbed. Obviously, they're refurbed, but they're all well maintained, and you can tell. But they're very well taken care of, and it's all done through volunteers, man.
Just to be able to work on something like that would be awesome too, man.
And looking at it, and I work on aircraft every day, and just seeing how these things were made, these things are beasts, man. This is back in where you don't really worry about weight. You just make it out of the best shit you can. And
because you don't want a random bullet blowing a motor up, you know?
No. And those engines, man, some of those engines are just, they're old Allison engines, and it's just American awesomeness inside these things, man. It was really, really cool. They had a section that had engines and transmissions. They had turbos. They had canopies, aircraft canopies back there, just sitting there. Oh, it was cool. It was really, really neat. If you don't like aviation, even if you don't like aviation, or if you're not into aviation, you can still appreciate the craftsmanship of all of these aircraft and all of the pieces, parts, and stuff that come with it.
I love the engineering aspect of it, but that's just me, you know.
Well, here I am calling. I'm like, "Hey, Ice, look, there's some AN525 screws in here holding the skin on." And then Johnny looks at me. He goes, "Oh, are you a mechanic?" I'm like, "Well, kind of. I do this for a living now. I can find my way around an aircraft." So it was cool, man. I can't wait to go back and check that place out again and actually go through. The place is very huge. I only saw probably 2/3 of it. There's a whole, like, a biplane section, and a glider section, and it's just neat.
The old biplanes, my Jimmy Jam. I love that old kind of, like, balsa wood kind of holding shit.
Or cloth. They have cloth winged biplanes. So that was cool. So I guess on to the next stuff. I got a lot of stuff out here to cover. So this week on Tuesday there was the State of the Union. Did you catch any of that?
Nope. I refuse to watch elderly abuse take place.
Yeah, I don't think he did too terrible of a job. It was still kind of cringe. It wasn't it wasn't everything I was hoping for. Let's just put it that way. So President Biden's State of the Union sounded like it was once upon a time a good, well-rehearsed and finished speech, but all of a sudden needed to be modified because of what Russia's doing. So the first 12 minutes or so was devoted to what Biden called the United States' unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny. Where President Biden missed the mark was when he missed the opportunity to also talk directly to China and Xi Jinping and say that freedom is the only acceptable solution. Biden failed to really announce with any bravado that the U.S. had banned Russian flights from American airspace. Did you know that they did?
No, I didn't.
We did. He didn't say anything about that. That would have been an applause moment, standing ovation. That would have been awesome. That I would have loved to hear that. He failed to announce that. The response to that would have just been huge. He said that he had spent countless hours unifying our European allies, and I don't know that he did. I don't know if he. I'm not sure. I'm not willing, or I'm not ready. I'm willing to give any credit where credit is due, but I don't think that he did. I pretty much think that the world was united immediately following when Russia invaded Ukraine. I don't think any intervention was needed. That said, cooperation was indeed needed to convince our allies, especially those in the European Union, to levy some sanctions. Many businesses in the EU depend on not only the wealth of the Russian oligarchs, but the trade that happens between Russia and the EU. Something tells me that the USA will financially help the EU make up for their losses. Because everybody's kind of cutting ties with Russia, and this is globally. I think it's more. I think it hits harder in Europe. The closer you are to Russia, the harder it's going to hit. I mean, like Germany, all of their production as far as energy is gone, and they rely solely on Russian oil and gas.
The Nordstrom pipeline, or whatever it's called, Nord pipeline. I can't.
Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
Yes.
So yeah, they got they've got a lot. The thing is, they've got a lot more skin in the game. They've got a lot more to lose. Germany does, but they're the ones that are kind of setting the pace for sanctions and stuff. The last thing you need is Ivan, marching back into your country. It's just that's just terrible. It's a terrible. It would suck to be a Russian neighbor. Imagine how stressful that is to be a neighbor to Russia. Finland
apply for NATO applicacy right now.
I don't know if they did NATO or if they did EU. I really don't know.
Well, I think Finland's part of the EU already. I was just wondering if that, I heard rumors that they were like, hey, because it is BS, we're going to apply for NATO status, and Russia was like, oh no. And I don't think Russia learned their first time about messing with Finland. Because it didn't end well for the Russians.
The thing is, isn't Finland like a neutral country, or was that Sweden?
Switzerland. Even Switzerland got involved with this crap, which blows my mind.
Yeah, and I've seen the memes like you fucked up when a neutral country is against you. So the remainder of the State of the Union amounted largely. Let me switch back to that. Amounted largely to a word salad of his familiar agenda. He touted record job growth. He's taking credit for people going back to work after everything was shut down. I think that was an inevitability.
No, sometimes I'll see things from the White House's actual social media page. They'll post statistics, and it makes me want to poke myself in the eyes because you really just said that, propaganda. People
are going back to work not because of your policies. It's just because everything is opening up. Like I said, I'm very willing to give credit where credit is due, and just to claim credit where there should be none. This doesn't matter if it was Trump in office. You can't claim people going back to work because they're allowed to go back to work as job growth. Let me see what else here. He placed stress on the need to bring back jobs to the United States. Businesses are in business to make money and grow, not to break even and stagnate. The reason businesses leave certain states or even the United States is because of the cost of doing business. Taxes are too high. Fees and just stuff. It just the cost of doing business in many cases is a lot cheaper to do it in Mexico or in China. I do agree that we ought to bring back semiconductor jobs back to the United States. I mean, Intel is here, but a lot of our chips get made over in China or Taiwan or something. Taiwan's not a problem yet until China takes them over. So
There was a chip maker that was open in, I think it was Dallas or maybe Austin.
I mean, we've got Texas Instruments. TI makes all kinds of stuff, but they've been slowly like closing up shop and shipping their stuff off overseas. So regardless of the party, I will always cheer for my home team, the USA. I felt empty after the State of the Union. I heard what I had expected, and I didn't hear what I needed to hear. The only passion I heard out of the entire State of the Union address, and this is going to ruffle some fucking feathers, was from Lauren Boebert, when she piped up and, President Biden was talking about the burn pits, which is awesome stuff where soldiers can get some disability and get treated for injuries that they've sustained due to burn pit exposure. But then Lauren Boebert stood up and she said, because President Biden was talking about flag draped coffins coming back to the United States and talking about the burn pits and stuff like that. And she couldn't contain herself. So she stood up and she goes, 13 of them. And she was referencing the 13 American service members that were killed during our retreat from Afghanistan. At the time, during the President Biden was talking about health issues experienced by service members due to toxic exposure from the burn pits, and alluded to maybe that his son was a victim. President Biden's son, Beau, died of brain cancer back in 2015. Yeah, bad timing, Lauren. Whoever the public affairs people for Biden didn't. They actually said that he didn't have time to mention the troops in Afghanistan, and that's just fucked up. So Lauren Boebert tweeted, she goes, when Biden said flag draped coffins, I couldn't stay silent. I told him directly that he did it. He put 13 in there. Our heroic service men and women deserve much better. I can't say that I disagree with her, and I can't even say that her timing was off. So what are you going to do? Scream at it? All of her, it's hard to say, yeah, she was right or yeah, she was wrong. It's like, maybe some different decisions could have been made. I don't blame her though. I don't blame her. She feels that passionately about it. And that's it. I don't. Does anybody else have any takes on the State of the Union? I didn't. I was underwhelmed.
I got this one.
Hold on a second. Let me.
The Crypt Keeper at it again.
That was just that's just.
It was so cringy.
What the hell is she doing?
It was so, I don't know. Was she warming her hands?
She rubbing her knuckles together.
Raccoon got to wash food. I don't know, but that's the only thing I got out of the whole thing. Where that's all that I was like, yeah, the Crypt Keeper's at it again. So
I did notice her sitting down there. She was like, and she's always sucking her teeth or like realigning her dentures or whatever. She's just like, whatever. I'd hate to hear what that sounds like. Yeah. So that's
money, yeah, Tara. money.
money. So here we got. Let me see. We're gonna get on the. Oh, this is a pretty good story because I think we're going to be a little bit Ukraine heavy for the first hour, and then we can break off. Who knows? I'm not making any promises. But the Ukrainian side has been trying to stop the Russian invasion not only by weapons and direct combats, but also by striking them digitally. A few days ago, Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's vice PR, announced that the government will create an IT army. We need digital talents. There will be tasks for everyone. We continue to fight on the cyber front, he explained. The intercontinental hacker group Anonymous also conducted several cyber attacks in Russia. In just 2 days, the organization breached more than 300 Russian targets, collecting over 1 billion rubles, which amounted at that time to $10 million.
$1 million? Oh, I was about to say $1 million.
The ruble has tanked. It's worth less than a penny. Is that correct?
Actually, I think my Shibu might actually be freaking worth more than a ruble. Don't quote me on that.
That's damn funny. But I mean, if you're into buying countries' debt, now's the time to buy into Russia's debt.
I was thinking about that, but are you legally allowed to do that?
I don't think you can do that anymore because of all these sanctions.
That's what I thought. I was like, man, let's just buy me like 1 million rubles, and throw it, chest somewhere and hold on to it.
It'll eventually come back. It'll eventually come back because, Putin's either going to get whacked by his own damn people or he's not going to be president forever, and Russia's not going to be the Russian bear forever. So it'll eventually come back. Is that a good thing to buy the ruble? I don't know. I don't know
what the laws are behind that. That's what I was saying. I don't want to get snatched up by, the SEC or whatever it is, whoever takes care of the financial crap. Man, it's like next thing I gotta knock on the door. Like, why are you buying rubles?
Well, it's like when in Iraq, we had those what are those dinar?
The dinar, yeah, the Iraqi dinar.
Yeah, and with fuzzballs face all over the currency, Saddam Hussein. That shit's worthless. Like Venezuelan currency, it's freaking worthless. It's probably cheaper to.
One time I had a whole briefcase full of fucking Iraqi dinar just because I could. I was like, all right.
It was something to have. It was like a war trophy, I suppose. So, in another attempt to lessen the power of the Russian forces and make extra profits, Anonymous also reportedly offered tank crews $52,000 worth of Bitcoin for each surrendered battle machine. So if they bring them a tank, they're going to get $50,000. Those who wish to exchange such vehicles for cryptocurrency need to wave a white flag and then use the password million so the hacking group can recognize them. That's legit. That is absolutely legit.
This is a whole new level of warfare that we've never seen.
This is okay. So the Gulf War was the first televised war, really. This is the first live streamed war.
Because it messes me up. Because I'll be on TikTok, I'll be doing my swiping. I'm like, funny. And there's this dude with steamed beans falling off of his head, and I'll flip up and I'll, a Russian paratrooper landed on a nuclear. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Flip next, just random craziness, and then flip again, and oh, this dude's stealing a tank. Cool, it's
with a tractor.
Yes,
with a John Deere tractor. It looked like a John Deere. I don't know if it was John Deere. It was green and yellow, so I'm thinking John Deere.
It's been about the strangest 2 weeks that I've ever experienced on the internet. Huh?
Is LiveLeak still in business? Do they still have videos? I don't know. I used to watch LiveLeak a lot, and then I kind of fell off.
Newgrounds. If you really want to get combat footage, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Funker
530.
Yeah, that's a good website to go because you can get it boom instantly at that point.
That's pretty cool. So anyway, there's a lot of. What's the status? I don't have any status on the nuclear power plant down in southern Ukraine. It got shelled last night. I think it got taken over.
Apparently, Russia has control of it now, but I don't know why the hell you would shell a nuclear power plant.
During ICE's show, I'm like, please do not fire at the nuclear facility. You just don't do that. I don't care if you want to take it over or not. You don't shell it.
Over, but don't shell it. Russia's really screwed. I don't know what's going on right now because, you already got Chernobyl. You're gonna create another Chernobyl right on your border. Does that make sense to you at all? Let's just bring Fukushima over here and just drop it on LA.
Right. I mean, because right across that strait there is Crimea, which is under Russian control. It's been Russia annexed it some years ago. So you have Crimea, then you have this strait, and then you have where this nuclear power facility is, and they're shelling the shit out of it. Dumb. Who's doing tactics there in Russia? I'm not a tactician. I'm not a professional type of a war strategist, but I think I know better not to shell a nuclear facility.
I don't know. When I was in the Army, if someone told me to do something, normally I would just be like, okay, it's not my pay grade to think at this point.
Well, I guess they just, I mean, your standoff range is a long ways away. Here's a grid. Eliminate it. Okay.
Not asking questions. It's okay.
So, of course, Russia is going to hit back, and they're talking about reverse sanctions, I guess. Russia's space agency, Roscosmos, is halting deliveries of rocket engines to the United States in response to the U.S. sanctions.
Yeah, but then Musk came out and said, don't worry about it. We got you.
I got you, bro. The Russians said, quote, let them fly into space on their brooms. Roscosmos chief Dmitry Rogozin said on Russian state television on Thursday. In addition, he said, Russia no longer wants to service any delivered jet engines for the time being. I wonder if that includes the International Space Station. We talked about that last week.
We did. No, that's what like Musk came out. I think he tweeted it. And he was like, "Don't worry about it. I got you." Pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, we'll adapt our aircraft to send shit up there and fix.
He's a capitalist. He knows he's like, "Hey, I can make some money off this shit. Hold on, give me a second. Hold my beer, bro."
Yeah, I've got some more Elon Musk news, which I think is just fantastic. This dude is he's a fucking rock star, dude.
The tweet that I saw earlier is probably what you're going to be talking about.
Probably. So the Roscosmos chief previously criticized punitive measures imposed by the West, and he even threatened to withdraw Russia from the International Space Station in 2025. On Wednesday, Roscosmos threatened not to launch the next batch of high-speed internet satellites on behalf of British communications company called OneWeb. The company said what he said was the company should give comprehensive, legally binding guarantees within 2 days that they will not use these for military purposes. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that means. Maybe it was a translation from Ivan to English that I missed. Yeah, he says he doesn't want these satellites to be used for military purposes. I think they're just regular, just communication satellites for kind of like what Starlink is. If OneWeb does not provide guarantees, the Soyuz rocket with the satellites will be taken off the launch pad, he said. The launch is planned for tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Who owns the OneWeb again? Is it a Russian company?
It's Britain.
And hey, Britain, go hit up this dude. His name is Elon Musk, and I'm pretty sure he'll put your satellites into space for you.
Yeah. For probably cheap. Britain, like many other Western countries, has imposed unprecedented sanctions on Russia after Russian troops invaded Ukraine. The satellites enable high-speed internet to hard-to-reach places on Earth. There have been several launches in the past. Last week, the Rogozin said that Roscosmos will withdraw its collaboration and its technical support staff from the European spaceport near Kourou in French Guiana in reaction to the sanctions. So, in walks Elon Musk. So earlier, what time is it? I have no idea.
8 till.
8 till. Got room for one more here. So earlier, let me see. Earlier in the social media war, Mikhailo Fedorov, Vice Prime Minister of the Ukraine, tweeted at Elon Musk and asked if he could help turn Ukraine's internet back on. Musk said, sure, no problem. And he sent them Starlink. They had received, from the time that Elon Musk said yes, I think it was like it was less than 48 hours later, Starlink was on the ground in Ukraine. So he made that happen. But Fedorov said he needed tech support after all these things arrived. He said, mind you, that this is all happening against the backdrop of a war. After everything was set up and active, Fedorov tweeted to Musk, he says, many thanks. Starlink keeps our cities connected and emergency services running. With Russian attacks on our infrastructure, we need generators to keep Starlink and life-saving services online. Do you have any ideas? And then about 12 hours later, Musk responds, updating software to reduce peak power consumption so Starlink can be powered from a cigarette lighter. Mobile roaming enabled so phased array can maintain signal while in a moving vehicle.
Ooh.
Everything the vice prime minister asked for was done quickly and easily by Elon Musk and probably his team. It's amazing what you can do when there is no bureaucracy. Musk could have been sitting on the toilet while he was fixing this glitch. It's awesome because he's on our side. It's terrifying to think if the situation was reversed. If Musk was on the other side of things. If he was our enemy. How much damage a smart dude can do.
The fact that, I mean, I'm not going to knock him and not call him that he's not smart, but he surrounds himself with even smarter people.
Yeah.
His circle is like probably some of the smartest people walking on the planet right now.
I don't disagree with that at all. Elon Musk also posted that Starlink is now active in the Ukraine and it should be used carefully, as the Russians may intend to target it. And by that I mean learn what the frequencies are and target them with missiles or artillery.
Oh no.
So
Russia, don't do it. We don't need Musk dropping nukes on people. We don't need that.
So that was really, really cool. I've got a lot of respect for Elon Musk. He's just, I don't know. So much hate thrown in that guy's direction.
It's that weird crowd that's like eat the rich. I don't understand it. For some reason, Bezos is a piece of shit in my eyes.
Why? Okay, Bezos is a piece of shit because why? He's just
He's like a Vanderbilt kind of like, I don't know if you know about I don't know if you ever heard of like the flood of Johnstown, Pennsylvania back in the 1800s. There was this dam that had a very small causeway going across it. I can't remember the guy's name. He was a friend of Carnegie, and he was like, hey, I want to be able to drive my carriage across this. So they forced the dam down so this asshole could just ride his carriage across the top of the dam to his sports club or whatever.
That's what's happening with Bezos's boat.
Yes, it's pretty much the same scenario. But what happened with this dam was there was heavy rain, like a torrential downpour, that caused the dam to break, and it pretty much wiped this entire town out in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And like they were finding bodies like almost close to the Mississippi and Cincinnati.
Oh shit!
You know, like 3 years later, they were finding like remains from this shit, and that's the kind of rich people I don't like. Like, I'm better than everyone else. Do what I tell you to do, you know. And Musk is pretty much kind of like, hey, let's figure a way to build tunnels on the ground and let's do some crazy shit. And, you know, like, oh, there's an easier way to do this. Like, he's an innovator. I like that kind of guy, you know. But
so if I understand,
like, how much more money can I make?
So if I understand you correctly, it's like Bezos is what he is because he is rich and he does what he wants because he can just he can pay the bill.
Yeah. Where Musk will, like, you know,
who is equally as wealthy. I mean, him and Bezos has been trading first place for world's richest.
I don't know. I like Musk because he's just creating shit. You know, like these are things that will help us, you know, like 100 years down the road, like the satellite thing, the Starlink thing he's putting out. You know, it's actually starting to push these internet companies that have been stagnant for the last 20 years. Yeah. Actually start going towards rural areas and you know, hooking things up.
So I think Musk is an innovator. He makes things and he does good stuff for the betterment of humankind. Bezos, he owns Amazon, and that's why he's rich. I don't know that he's done anything spectacular. He hasn't innovated really anything.
I mean, have you ever gotten an Amazon package? Like, you order something and like you're like, what is this package? It shows up like a couple days later, just like this massive box. Mm-hmm. And you open it up and you're like digging through all those plastic like airbags and it's like that little battery that you ordered. It's like this big, but they put it in the biggest package with all the crap. You know, that right there drives me insane at that point, because it's like everyone's like, let's go green, man. This dude's destroying the environment. Elon Musk is trying to get us to Mars, man. Who's the better guy at that point? Huh?
Some of my the latest Amazon packages I've gotten has like a stamp on it that says made with less material. I mean, it's still a big ass box with a little thing in it, but it says this box made with less material. So Holly says he's autistic. I think she's talking about Elon Musk. I think he probably registers on that a little bit, like a Asperger's.
During Saturday Night Live, and actually admitted to it. He's like, I have Asperger's.
He has Asperger's. Okay, because you can look at him and it's like that kind of looks like Asperger's to me. But yeah, and that explains it. That doesn't make him any less. Doesn't make anybody less functional.
Some of the most intelligent people that I've ever met in my life have autism.
Yep, I've got a nephew with Asperger's, and he's fucking kicking that ass in college right now. So what do you say? I can't see the time.
Until
it is 1 minute till. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about more things and stuff, and we're talking about a sniped general. Let me see. According to Putin, the war is going. Everything is going according to plan. And then Twisted Sister kind of chimes in on the whole Ukraine thing. So yeah, we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
I took 2 bites, bitch.
WTF Nation Radio.
All right, everybody, we're back for part 2 of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, and up there is Pooky.
Hey.
And we're back. We are back. So there's going to be an air show, and I posted in our ops chat this B-17 that's going to be flying in. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful aircraft. Kind of makes me want to go back to Colorado Springs to check all this stuff out. And he also forwarded a picture of our WTF or our Nation Radio bingo card for the State of the Union. Every square on that was checked except for 2. So I'm thinking our bingo card may have killed some people. Sorry about that. So what were you saying about Elon Musk during the break?
Oh, my bad. I'm sitting here just laughing at my microphone muted. Actually, I pulled it up and I'm gonna share it with y'all.
Okay.
Right there. You should be able to see it. It's pretty much Elon Musk says, "I hate to say it, but we need to increase oil and gas output immediately. Extraordinary times demand extraordinary measures." So obviously this would negatively affect Tesla, but sustainable energy solutions cannot react instantaneously to make up for the Russian oil and gas export.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if everybody was, let's say the Green New Deal was a thing. There's no way that the United States or anybody could. We use a lot of power. The United States uses, what is it, 19 million barrels of oil a day?
Mm-hmm.
In different facets. It's not just all for gasoline. It's all for, plastics. And look around you. Everything that is around you has probably been touched by the petroleum industry, or it's made as a result of something that has been created in the petroleum industry. Unless you have a block of wood next to you. That's
well, that's like Musk said probably a couple months back. He said fission energy is where it's at. But, we really need to start adopting more fission-friendly attitude, and people lost their minds on that. But I can see where he's at with that.
So we've got a visitor. Thank you very much for joining us, Horvath Christoph. He's chiming in. He says, "Hello, guys. I'm from Hungary. I literally live a few hundred miles from the Ukrainian border. People are fleeing from the war by the thousands. Our capital is now full of Ukrainian refugees. I feel bad for them." Me too, brother. I can only imagine what the neighbors of Ukraine. The thing is, they're super awesome. Everybody has been really, really super awesome. And we can go back to, oh gosh, where did it go? Mm-hmm. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Guns venue, not this one, not that one. This one right here. Let's see who is for, who is against, and who abstained. Abstentions for sanctions are highlighted in yellow. Against completely is red. And anybody for it, 141 countries are for. These are friends of the Ukraine. Anybody you see in blue is friends of the Ukraine. So, oh my gosh, there's a whole lot of support for the Ukrainian people. I think that it's extremely, it would be nerve-wracking to be a neighbor to Russia right now.
See, I'm looking at the map and I'm noticing that Mexico and Brazil both are in favor of that, and aren't they part of the
Mexico's blue, they're against it, but I think, what is that, Honduras or maybe El Salvador down in the Central America, maybe Panama? Is that Panama?
That's Venezuela is against it. Abstaining from it is, I don't think that's. That might be Honduras. I really need to look at the map a little bit better.
I think that's either Honduras or El Salvador.
Cuba, definitely.
Cuba, of course.
but
I figured Cuba would be red, but they abstained. A lot of abstentions in Africa, only because they receive a lot of aid from Russia, so they can't come out against it, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
And I'm looking in Europe, or like you see where Ukraine is. I can't zoom in. But there's like yellow, 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 and then it's like a yellow with a red.
Jordan?
That's right. Syria. That's Syria.
Oh, Syria. Okay, yeah.
In the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard map to read because it's kind of so condensed, but.
But yeah, I think there's no doubt in my mind the world is united.
Even China said I abstain, but North Korea's like, we're with you. Yay.
they don't have a I don't know. China, I think they're completely backing Ukraine. It's one of those enemy of my enemy is my friend type things. Because they're both big power brokers, and they're just like, yeah, whatever you're doing, that's cool. Kind of a dick move, and I'm not going to say it publicly. And I think China's going to be making a move on Taiwan.
I'm surprised Iran didn't back Russia. That's the thing that blew my mind.
They're under the abstain, right?
Yeah, I was actually surprised that they didn't say, hey, we're with Russia at this point. But I guess they're like, yeah, we don't want none of this hate.
Yeah, even Musa al-Zawani says that, yeah, Syria voted with Ivan. But yeah, that's the way the world sits right now, and I'm glad that these sanctions are happening, and I think it's just a matter of time. You know, you're kind of backing this shithead down, you know, in a corner, and I think, you know, you back an animal into a corner and they attack. So I think that things aren't, and I'm going to get to this after we talk about a general that got sniped. We're going to talk about Putin, and I'll address those issues in a little bit. But in the meantime, let's go towards the general that got a gaping head wound. A top Russian general has been killed among bitter fighting in Ukraine in what represents a major blow to the Russian invasion. Major General Andriy Sukhovetsky, who was the deputy commander of the 41st Combined Arms Army of Russia's Central Military District, whatever that means, died yesterday as Ukrainian defense forces repelled the Russian offensive. Dude got, so I think he's the fat dude on the left instead of the fat short dude on the right. His death has not officially been confirmed by Russia's Ministry of Defense, but announced on social media by his colleague, Sergei Chipolyov. These names. It was widely reported by several Russian and Ukrainian news outlets. A military source confirmed that he was killed by a sniper and suggested a funeral for the Major General, by far the most senior Russian figure to have died in the conflicts thus far, will be held in Russia on Saturday. After days of denial, the Kremlin yesterday admitted that 498 of its troops had been killed and 1,600 injured in the special military operation. This isn't an invasion. This isn't a war, according to Russian media. This is just like a training exercise. This is a, what do they call that? A special military operation. But the true figure is almost certainly higher, because I've heard figures as high as like 9,000 coming out of Ukraine. So you gotta, somewhere between 498 and 9,000, there's the real number. Ukraine's armed forces, meanwhile, claimed today that Russia's army had suffered 9,000 casualties, though a statement recognized that the calculation of the death toll is complicated, or it is complicated by the high intensity of the hostilities. Did you see the video? There was a Russian soldier that was in some town. I don't even know where it was. It was a club. He tried to get into the club, but the club had like the locks on the door were like awesome. He's like shooting the shit out of the door, like where the lock is, and it still maintained its integrity. He broke the windows, and he finally said fuck it, and walked away. He tried to break into the club. Something tells me he wanted a drink, because shit ain't going their way.
Well, I mean, I've seen them raiding grocery stores and You know, like those two young, I don't know if they're privates or whatever. I'll just say soldiers, Russian soldiers, walked up to the police station and said, "Hey, can we get some fuel?" And they wound up getting arrested. You know, like, hey, all right. I mean, I don't know if they're that desperate. I don't know what's going on with the, logistics behind. I think Russia really I really thought they were going to. What I think they thought was it was going to be like a 3-day war at that point. And they just didn't supply for the logistics at that point.
There, I think the logistics of everything, and I've seen these posted in memes and stuff. It's like, who the hell said it? Was it Task and Purpose? I forget where I saw this. Someone said that if I ever called you a pog, I didn't. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's TikTok, like, I'm sorry for calling you a pogue. Now I realize, you actually do your things.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Pogs were the things we got in Kuwait before we went to Iraq. Pogues are the people other than grunts, which is thrown out by a lot of the 11 bang-bangs out there. If you got a blue cord, if you ain't got a blue cord, you ain't shit, and all that other stuff.
I mean, you were talking about like the estimates of deaths and stuff like that. I'm looking at, I'm like on Wikipedia right now looking at the Chechen wars. And
that was hundreds of thousands, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, Russia claimed they only lost 5,000 troops, but that's their Russian claim. But I've heard claims going up to like an insane amount during the first Chechen war.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one didn't really go well for Chechnya, or however you pronounce it.
Chechnya.
Yeah.
But according to Putin, everything's proceeding according to plan. Russia's attack on Ukraine is going according to plan, and that's a quote. And the violence will get worse, Putin warned. The Russian president made the alarming comments to Emmanuel Macron, his French counterpart, during a phone call on yesterday. After hanging up the phone, at the end of the exchange, which lasted for about an hour and a half, Mr. Macron said the worst is yet to come. President Putin expressed his very great determination to continue the offensive, the aim of which is to take control of the entire country. President Putin said the Russian army operation was developing according to the plan, and that it would get worse if the Ukrainians do not accept the surrender terms. So here I'm wondering, okay, what terms could there possibly be? So there's 3 main terms that Putin wants. He said number 1 is Ukraine recognizes and accepts Russia's hold on Crimea. Number 2, independence for the separatist control areas of Donetsk and Luhansk. And number 3 is complete demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. So the word that came that kind of made me do the Forrest Whitaker eye thing was denazification. It was strange to me. In the same way that Antifa uses the word anti-fascist. They claim to be anti-fascist, but they are more fascist than even the Nazis were to some degree during World War II. Russia wants the world to believe that the Ukrainian government is run by Nazis or uses Nazi-like tactics. I mean, Zelensky, he's Jewish, so I suppose that we can say that the Ukrainian people are defending themselves with Mazel Tov cocktails. Get it with the Molotov cocktails, Mazel Tov cocktails.
Mazel Tov.
They've got beer companies in Ukraine and liquor companies that have stopped producing product in order to give people bottles so they can make Molotov cocktails. I'm not sure what kind of, it's fuel and a rag and things and stuff. So I think it'll slow you down. It's not going to destroy a tank, but it's going to light some asses on fire. And
I don't know if you've seen like the videos.
Nobody wants to burn to death. That's a horrible way to die.
No. I don't know if I'd rather drown to death or freeze to death, but burning to death is not up on the top. But have you seen the little I guess they're like the little ladies with the cheese graters, and they're polystyrene, like grating it up to make that. They're
making napalm.
Yes, pretty much. I'm not gonna put it out there how to do it, but I'm just saying they're just.
So what you're saying is they have a cheese grater and they're grating up like the white styrofoam stuff, the squeaky
polystyrene.
Polystyrene.
Styrene. That's I want to use the proper name so I don't give any rednecks any ideas, because if they hear certain words, they'll be like, "Oh, I could do that."
You know what I'm wondering is what does a Ukrainian redneck look like? Are they like United States of America type rednecks? Hey y'all, do they have a different dialect?
Actually, probably more like the whole like tracksuit kind of driving around in a Volvo and
fucking tracksuits, man.
Drinking vodka, sitting there squatting around, smoking cigarettes. AK-47 on her back. That's how I picture.
Oh my gosh, I've got to play this. I've got to play this. I hope this doesn't fuck things up, but I've got to. Oh, here it is. This is, I have no idea where this song is from, but I think it's from Russia. It might be from Russia. I have no idea. It's just, this song screams tracksuit. It's really catchy. It really is catchy. I like it. But yeah, it screams tracksuit.
I was thinking about buying me a Adidas tracksuit, like the full set.
This is pretty. This is Big Bada Boom.
Is that Boom? I can't remember. We used to get some really weird satellite feed TV in Iraq. The Iraqis would hook us up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like there's some like rappers on there. We didn't understand what I was like. This guy's actually going pretty hard. I don't know who he is.
They do go hard, man. And being an American, and that's all that you hear. You're used to the Western stuff, and then you hear the Eastern European or the Russian stuff, and you're just like, they're trying really, really hard, and it's some of it is good. I like that. I don't even know what the hell. Five Nizza, I think, is the name of that band. I don't know what the hell that means, but hey, it sounds cool.
Hey, but you want to watch TV and you're in a foreign nation, you get whatever you got.
Yeah. So let's. Oh gosh. What's up, man?
I'm just seeing the team rooms blowing up. I'm dying too inside.
So let's talk about the no-fly zone, or the lack of the no-fly zone. Oh, come on, cursor, where are you? The prospect of the United States imposing or helping to impose a no-fly zone is pretty close to zero, unless Russia attacks NATO, or if maybe some strings are pulled, like saying that the U.S. fighters can impose a no-fly zone based on like a United Nations charter order or something, maybe. But Zelensky said to Western nations that that would not help impose a no-fly zone. He says, well, fine, give me the planes and we'll do it ourselves. I'm sure everyone saw the super long convoy of tanks and trucks traveling toward Ukraine. All of the A-10 pilots in the world probably started crying simultaneously. So here's an idea. Lease 100 A-10s to the Ukrainian military for 1 cent each. Provide training for the pilots and flight crews, and then let them loose. They can fly into like Romania or Poland for like rearming, resupply.
Aren't they supposed to be decommissioning the A-10 because of the new F-35?
Oh, the F-35 is going to be awesome.
Ooh, yeah.
You cannot get rid of the A-10. because of this. If Ukraine had A-10s, that convoy of vehicles would be obliterated. It would be the highway of death times 10. There's no way.
No, that whole road would be crippled for probably 2 years before they'd be able to get all the debris off of it. Huh?
What did you say? Say that again.
I said that whole road, 40 miles. If A-10s were like a squadron of A-10s were to just strafe that, it would take 2 years for them to get all the debris off the road at that point. Huh?
So this is a very long convoy of vehicles. I want to say this is the one that's outside Ukraine or outside Kyiv. But what I heard was that the lead vehicles were destroyed, so the convoy is stalled. Do they not have bulldozers? Do they not have combat engineers that just clear the fucking road off and then keep on driving?
Do they not have e-tools?
I don't know, man. Something seems squirrely to me. I think that Russia could probably get by this obstacle very quickly. I think maybe they're waiting for other forces in other parts of the country to get online before they make an advance. Does that make sense to you?
I don't even think the United States has ever done anything stupid like this.
No.
You don't put all of your logistics in one. It makes no sense to me at all at this point. Huh? I really think
there's no spacing. There's no spacing there at all. That's like there's no space. You're supposed to be.
Think about
how many vehicle links between you and the vehicle in front of you?
15 meters at max.
Yeah.
I mean, you just like try to keep it. But here's a 50 meters, 15, depending on how you're rolling at that point. But what's keeping like some like say ghost unit from Ukraine from like sneaking up in the middle of that shit in the night and just off and do just like smack, and it is roll up through. It'd be pure chaos at that point because no one would know who's shooting at who at that point. Huh?
So Musa Alzwani says an A-10 by itself is not the solution because an A-10 is a part of a combined system. Just an opinion. If by that you mean it's the aircraft, it's the pilots, it's the support crew. I'm thinking that an A-10 leasing, let's because you can't do it for free, because that would be direct support. Just say charge them a penny, and all the ammo you can use. Train the flight crews to run the FARPs, which is the forward arming and refueling points. Maybe some mechanics. Train their mechanics to take care of it. I think the A-10 is pretty damn resilient.
I saw a video of one flying in. I think it was Desert Storm. Had half a wing missing.
Yeah,
it landed. It was perfectly fine. Okay, go here.
But yeah, man, I think that if that were to happen, I think that this convoy stuff would be done. But something in the back of my mind tells me that Russia's not sending their best and their brightest first. I think those guys are in the wings. But Zelensky's survived, 3 assassination attempts right now?
3 from what I've heard.
3, and then they had these groups, these special operations groups coming into Kiev to assassinate him, but they were all taken out.
Is it Kiev or Kyiv? That's the proper way to say it.
I'm going to call it Kyiv. I'm going to call it Kyiv.
I say Kiev.
I say Kiev, and I talked to Ice about that too while I was up there. I'm like, are we talking about the same city, or is this like a different city? And he's like, no, it's the same thing. It's Kiev. It's Kyiv. So
you got Qatar or Qatar. I've heard
Qatar.
It different.
I've always said Qatar, and then it's like Qatar. Oh,
some people call it Qatar. I'm like, okay, well, all right, well, each their own at that point.
Maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
Pecan.
Pecan, unless if you're in like Beaumont or something, Texas, it's pecans.
Done. Oh, I derailed you. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to catch up on the chats because we have a really great active chat coming. So we're probably gonna run out of content. But even Twisted Sister has chimed in on the Ukrainian thing here, and there's a glorious picture of Dee Snider. Dee Snider, the lead singer of Twisted Sister, is completely on board with his 1984 hit record or hit single, "We're Not Gonna Take It," being used by Ukrainians amid the Russia's invasion. He said that he said so much in a Twitter post on Saturday. He says, "I absolutely approve of the Ukrainians using 'We're Not Gonna Take It' in their battle cry." He goes, "It's awesome." "My grandfather was Ukrainian before it was swallowed up by the USSR after World War II. This can't happen to these people again," Snyder added. I'm sure he had some other things to say, but Twisted Sister's on board with them using "We're Not Gonna Take It." Heath, what the hell is a pecan? Pecans. No, it's pecan. Pecan. P-U-H.
I could get into
pecan. He's got it right.
I will get into this argument real quick, is because the actual native term for a pecan is actually pecan. It means nut. That's what they called it. That's the proper way to say it.
Who's they?
The natives that lived in that area called it a pecan, is what the proper. Everyone that says a pecan, I'll show you a pecan. Or go to and pull some freaking sweet peas out. That's a pecan.
Or a pecan is like a Gatorade bottle in your truck for 88 mics.
Yeah, a pecan, but a pecan is a nut.
Pecan is a nut.
Oh, you got me heated on that. I'll argue that all day long. But what I was going to say was, I'm getting old because that guy's looking old, and I remember him young, and I remember me being young and him looking young, and now he looking old. So
it's really crazy because the older you get, the older everyone is kind of moving on the line of time at the same rate, and everybody that you think, like Britney Spears, is always going to be 18. But then you see Britney Spears, how she actually looks, and you're like, oh, you've aged too. You know, it's just, it's
like watching Iron Maiden. Like now, I was like their last album, I saw them singing. I was like, I'm not getting that old. I'm not.
Did you know that Bruce Dickinson? He's a pilot. He flies a 707. He flew refugees out of Afghanistan.
Flight 666. Yes, I know. I read that. That was amazing. Yes.
That just gives me such a heavy metal boner. This is just so awesome. Mm-hmm. I think we're in the right on this. We are definitely in the right on this. As far as everybody who is opposing, I can't see anybody, and I don't understand. And I get into Twitter arguments about, the Republicans are supporting the Russians. I'm like, where do you get that from? Because somebody, Tucker Carlson, he said something that...
There's some Putin simps out there that really piss me off. Like, well, Putin's just fighting globalism and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? So I want to fight globalism, so I'm going to invade a sovereign nation. Is that going to solve globalism at that point? All that does is spread globalism at that point. You're trying to build your empire. Fuck you, you're a piece of shit.
All these
That's the way I put it.
All these isms and things. I'm just a dude living in the United States.
Yeah.
I go to my job and I come home from my job and I eat and I go to sleep and I rinse and repeat, do it the same thing, and I do the same thing the next day. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the world kind of does the same thing. They just, kind of stay out of global politics.
Just want to be left the fuck alone.
You know who the enemies are? You know who the enemies of your way of life is? People want to live free. China sucks. Russia sucks. Everyone else is pretty okay unless they're on the take from Russia or China. You know?
I don't know, man. I can argue some policies in our country and Canada and other places too, but I don't want to get into that. But
I would rather be oppressed in the United States here than being like some kind of a minority, like I don't know how do you say that, a Muslim, a Uyghur in China.
Oh, that's bullshit. That pisses me off more than anything.
I would rather be oppressed in the United States. I mean, I would rather have the shittiest life in America than the shittiest life in Russia or China. It's just, but that's what they're used to. Imagine being in, let's just say we went and liberated North Korea. Those people would not know how to fucking act for 10 years because they were used to just having the boot of the government on their neck. They can't express their opinions.
That's my like favorite videos to watch. Is they'll take like people who have lived in North Korea and they've defected to South Korea and they've spent their entire life and they'll be like, hey, you want to go try some Texas barbecue? And they'll like introduce them to Texas barbecue, and they'll bring out like a tomahawk, like a smoked tomahawk steak, and they'll be like, that's for me. I've never seen that much beef in my life.
Like all of it? The entire thing is one serving?
That's for me, they lose their minds on that shit. You know, and it's like things we take for granted. I'll eat a 20-pound steak, not even think twice about it. Exaggeration. But,
my and this was years ago. This is probably 20 years ago. My ex-mother-in-law is a religious lady. So she does religious outreach and stuff, and she's done stuff in Moscow. So she would fly to Russia, and all of her crap would be gone through by the customs over there. And immediately she would put like jeans and stuff in a bag, like shitty jeans, and they were on top, and they would be like confiscated. You can't have jeans there. They would take her jeans and all of her Western type of wear, and they would only let her wear like her formal, the dressy stuff. She knew that was going to happen. She's been there many, 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 many times. But man, just right now, I really feel bad for the Russian people in general. Not the government. The government can suck a ball, but the people in Russia who are oblivious. They're pretty much oblivious to what's going on.
I don't think they're all oblivious. They're just scared to speak out. It's like I think she was 74-year-old lady was arrested by the Russian police for protesting against the whole, attack on Ukraine up in Russia. I wish I could find a video of it.
There's no real current. There's no current information like we're getting. We get tweets and we get Facebook posts, and you can go to Funker 530 and you can see all these videos and things that are happening in real time. You have to question, okay, the validity of this, or how cool, or how accurate is this? Is this recent, or is this maybe from the Crimean War, or whatever?
No, well, I mean,
they have none of this. All these fuckers in Russia, all these citizens in Russia are getting whatever the government decides to tell them.
They get like what RT or whatever the main thing is over there, but
they got janked out of the United States. I had no idea that RT.
It kind of pisses me off in a sense because the same way I felt about Al Jazeera. Like I like being able to see. I want to see all. If you're gonna show me propaganda, let me see all the propaganda. Let me figure it out.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it. Like screw it. I don't want just CNN and Fox. I want the whole 9 yards at that point. BBC, Al Jazeera, RT. I'll pull. And then my brain can figure out, okay, I'm piecing this shit together. All right, it's like having like 50 of your friends in high school telling you a story a different way, and you got to fucking piece it together.
It's like that little telephone game. You tell this person something.
Yeah.
Here's the message, and then by the time it gets down to the end of the line, the message has fucking changed. And it always ends up being Epstein didn't kill himself.
But no, it's just like I'm weirded out about that aspect of it because we should be able to get their propaganda. Like just put a warning on it. Like, hey, this is state ran. I always want to like state ran propaganda or state run media, whatever you want to. We should be able to see China TV, all that stuff. We should be able to consume whatever we want to. And I freak out when all these agencies like Dish and DirecTV are like, we're dropping these stations, because of propaganda. We don't support Russia. And I'm like, well, maybe we should be able to see their side of the shit, no?
Or at least see the propaganda. Because you can see, and any, and this kind of it flies in the face of freedom and freedom of speech. Folks will consume it and just say, and they'll fall victim to the propaganda. I think that's what they're trying to avoid. But it's not necessary. I really think that Americans are smarter than that. However, that being said, folks will follow Fox News or follow CNN, and whatever they say, that is what their opinion is. You get the far right and the far left, and somewhere in between is the truth. So show it all, and we're going to make up our own minds. Intelligent people will do that.
It's the idea of freedom of press at that point. 100%.
So what is it? Freedom of the press, as long as you say what I want you to say, is what's happening in
most
Russia.
of the world right now. Most of the world right now. That's the thing. Like,
even Fox, I hate Fox. I used to like Fox, and now I hate Fox because they're they're a mouthpiece for the right. CNN's a mouthpiece for the left. There's really no real news out there.
I mean, even
it takes work to figure out what the truth is.
Super fucking I won't say all right, but far right. I don't like the term all right, but you can't get just straight like, here's the news, you figure it out, like the old days, like back in the day where you have a journalism thing, like, just here's the information, you come to an opinion. So now here's your opinion, this is how you're supposed to think, and screw the news behind it.
What I don't like, and this is the primary reason that I turned off news altogether, was it doesn't matter whether it's CNN, One American News, Fox, or whatever. There's if you look at the entire broadcast there's really no news reporting. It's like 2% news and 98% opinion. I mean, on both channels, it's 2% news. Here's the news, and then there's 98% of that is just talking about their opinion on that news. Both channels.
If you go to any major American media website and look through, everything is an opinion piece anymore. There's not actual journalism. Journalism has been dead for a long time. I really do believe that.
Sorry, typing a response.
Now, on a side note, I'm reading this weird news article. What's his name? Richard Childress. And a NASCAR guy, Hall of Fame guy.
Oh my gosh, the bullets guy.
Yeah, 1 million rounds of ammunition to Ukraine, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, now I know why I can't buy freaking ammo.
I'm like, first of all, where did he get 1 million rounds? Does he have 1 million rounds? But he had contacted a company called Ammo. And the only reason I know that company is because they're building a plant by my parents' house, and my mom and dad are like, you should go work there. You could be an engineer there. Their pay is nowhere near what I'm making now. But
Ammo Incorporated is the name.
Ammo Incorporated. They actually
are publicly traded, by the way.
They are publicly traded. They relocated from, I think, Arizona to a town in Wisconsin that I grew up in. And they're building this massive facility there to manufacture ammo. But he's like, hey, we got to do something, because I guess the NASCAR guy contacted the ammo guy and said, hey, we got to do something about this. So Ammo's going to supply all of this ammunition. The logistics have to be a bitch, though. You can't just ship a ship over there.
Yeah, well, just watch the movie War Dogs. You'll figure it out.
That was such a good movie, dude. I love that movie. So do you want
to... Triangle of Death?
Can I interest anybody, and I know this is in the description of the show, and I talked about this earlier, was who wants a free Bentley? You want a Bentley or a Lambo?
No, I don't want to pay the taxes on it.
No, there's no taxes. It's free. It's free. All you got to do is go and get it. Are you down?
Okay. Where do I got to go?
Well, there are some details here. A fire broke out on a cargo hold of a ship called Felicity. It's called Felicity Ace. 6 days after it departed from Emden, Germany, for the port of Davisville, Rhode Island. It is either not known or it's just not being said how or why the fire started. Nearby commercial ships and a helicopter rescued the ship's 22 crew members. No one was injured during this evacuation. The Felicity Ace, which is 650 feet long, remained on fire, and it billowed smoke, adrift off of the shore of Western Europe. There were several efforts to extinguish the fire and assess the damage to the vessel. The ship listed, and it went down 9 a.m. local time after tilting starboard, plunging about 4,000 cars, including more than 1,000 Porsches, 200 Bentleys, an unknown number of Lamborghinis, into the sea. The environmental impact. According to environmental groups, the area in which Felicity Ace sank is home to sperm whales, blue whales, humpback whales, dolphins, and sharks, and other species. Let's not even get into the ecological impact. The vehicle's only ship with 1 gallon of gas and half a gallon of motor oil. The ship, however, has millions and millions of gallons of fuel and oil. And now, apparently, a shit ton of luxury vehicles find themselves in a watery grave at about 30,000 feet. The water there is about 30,000 feet deep.
Deep water coral, leave it alone. No problem.
So I had to, okay. Of course, I had to do the math. How hard would it be to go down and grab yourself a vehicle? So 1 atmosphere is 10 meters down, which is 32.8 feet. We're talking water here from sea level down. For every atmosphere of depth that you go, if you guys scuba dive, you know what atmospheres are. For every atmosphere of depth that you go, there's an increase of 14.6 pounds per square inch of pressure on your body. 30,000 feet of water equals 914.6 atmospheres. So times 14.6 pounds per atmosphere gives you a whopping grand total of 13,353.6 pounds of pressure per square inch on your body. If you can't do that as a human. You got to be in a vessel. So it's probably safe to assume that these cars and ships are going to be completely unrecoverable.
Mm.
That's like Marianas Trench type depth. So what I'm talking about, I'm kind of wondering what caused the fire. I have no idea. Maybe it was like an overcharged battery. If there were electric cars or something on there, I have no idea. But it was a fire that erupted on the ship. It got out of control, and they evacuated a big ass ship with 4,000 cars. They just got people off of there and just let it do its thing, and it sunk.
Well, not much you can do with it once it sinks at that point.
You know, fire on a boat. I'm not in the Navy. I've never been in the Navy. Some of our listeners have. Fire on a boat is no bueno at all.
Well, I mean, the big difference between these cargo shipping ships and like a naval ship is they actually have like firefighting like drills that they do, and there's more crewmen. You know, like you said there's 25 people operating that big ship.
22, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to fight a fire at that point.
Insurance scam. He says it's an insurance scam. Dude,
I bet.
These are all bought and paid for cars.
Tesla's stock went up a couple of points because of that.
Probably. All right,
space lasers involved.
Hey man, I think we've had a good show. I think we're gonna call it, man.
Cut it short.
Not really too short. It's only
like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's a smoke. That's
good.
Go take your early smoke break.
So everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Today's Friday. This is just the beginning. So return with us on Monday. And Monday's our birthday, so happy birthday to us. We are 7 years old. We are getting into the asshole adolescent stage. And on Tuesday, we're going to have Bradley Constant here. And then on March 10th, we're going to have the USAREC Command Team talking with ICE.
USAREC.
USAREC. It's like, I wonder why do you lie? Why do you lie? They're like the used car salesman of military service, right? Anyway, thank you for the happy birthday, Musa Alzwani. Thank you very much. Anyway, we're out of here, and we're going to be back on Monday, so make sure you're here with us. Thank you very much. You got any? I've actually got a goodbye message. So, do you have anything to say to our lovely audience before we take off?
Yeah, I might be stealing it from you, but if you want to get high for free, just walk up to a stoner and say, "I've never smoked weed before," and you'll boom.
That's fucking genius, dude. So my thing is a little bit more holistic than that. Direction is much more important than speed. There are many people who are going nowhere fast. So thank you all for being here, man. I really appreciate each and every one of you. My name is Koz, and that is Pooky, and we are out of here.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.